China just announced a shocking new plan to take down the US economy, saying this publicly in a very outright way. And this could lead to massive things that already is having some repercussions across the globe, as we also have a big update when it comes to one of the largest credit card companies and crypto. What they did could be the next step toward major crypto adoption, and also Kanye West, a big new message on the heels of an announcement that he just made. A lot happening right now, so welcome to the Final Stand Show. I'm Wallace, your host, and today we have a lot of news to talk about.
Subscribe to the channel with Matt Wallace and see the way the cryptocurrency is changing the world for you and me, man. Dogecoin, get in on the boom. Dogecoin, to the moon.
There we go. There's the intro. A little bit of a lighthearted intro compared to some of the news we're going to talk about right now. So take a look at this. China has now indefinitely delayed the release of their GDP and other economic statistics. I wonder why the Chinese Communist Party, who hates freedom and information, would possibly want to delay such important statistics and information, one of the only major countries that's done this in a very long time. It's almost as if their economy is doing terribly, because they right now are on the precipice of one of the biggest disasters in the housing market in China. They're on the precipice of the Chinese Communist Party doing a terrible job. As we all know, when you take away free markets and you take away the ability for the people to make decisions, things happen that are bad. You can't have that be sustainable long term, but they have enough fake news, enough media within China, enough controlled state stuff that they can make it still work, and they have enough power over people with all these social credit scores. People are terrified to actually speak up and say anything. They get thrown in prison. I mean, it's really scary what's happening there right now. Not a lot of people are even paying attention. I mean, people are just like, oh, it's China, who cares? But maybe you should care, because there's a lot more to the story than what meets the eye. Take a look at this. XE, superpower, ambitious outline with U.S. economic goals. They have officially, through this announcement, the first and only meeting we've seen in a while with all of the China major Communist Party leaders just happened only a matter of hours ago. And in this announcement, they put forth some crazy stuff. One of the things they said is that they're going to potentially come after Taiwan sooner than expected here. Now, this could cause one of the largest conflicts on the world scale we've ever seen. With what just happened with Russia and the US not looking particularly strong right now from a governmental standpoint, particularly because a lot of people are just focusing on social issues when it comes to politics, and the world economy is still continuing on. Right now, the US economy is in a terrible state because the last 5 or 6 presidents we've had have not really tried to ramp down on the national debt. You cannot have everything you want. I know it'll be great to have low taxes while also having all the social programs, while also having no national debt. We all want all of that stuff. We want to be able to spend, to have everything. We want to be able to have the biggest military by far, massively bigger than everything else. We want to spend 10 trillion on everything. Why not, right? Of course we want that. But at the end of the day, that's just not the reality of the world. We have to, at some point, say, okay, what are we going to sacrifice financially in order to then have these rewards and benefits in exchange? And unfortunately, no one has been willing to sacrifice when it comes to administrations for a very long time, whether it's Republicans or Democrats, it doesn't matter. They're not willing to do it. They'll compromise here, compromise there, special interests here, special interests there. It's all over the place, and no one truly is just simply saying, hey, let's ramp up business. Let's have a tax structure that's not too low, but also is helpful when it comes to paying off the national debt, while also at the same time being able to implement the necessary social programs without having any additional ones until we can get in a better financial situation. Otherwise, it's going to get to a point where everyone who needs social programs is going to have a massive flow at once of people who need it, and there will be no money left to give, at which point there will be disaster. So I don't think people are really seeing the longer term picture here. People don't understand the potential consequences that could happen of being greedy now. People just want to be greedy now and say, hey, I want everything I can possibly imagine, whether it's having too low of taxes or, and by the way, low taxes are good. That should work. However, when you're in a situation when your economy is this much in debt, you cannot have that. You have to have a little bit higher taxes in order to get more out of the hole. But you cannot have those higher taxes only to spend them on wasteful things. And so that's where we're in a position now where there's one side of the aisle that's wanting lower taxes and oftentimes not enough to actually pay down the national debt. and also some wasteful spending. Then we have the other side, which has low taxes in some areas, some of the wrong areas, and then also wants to pay a lot more for certain things, some of which are going to have massive long-term negative effects. So neither side is truly tackling this economic issue in a way that makes sense, but that's the situation we're in right now. What are we going to do about it? And I think the only thing you can do is truly think next time you vote, will this person actually have a good plan for the economy? And if the answer is no, then put some kind of pressure in place. Speak out. If everyone's doing that and we're all putting pressure on politicians to do better, then we could have a potential future scenario where there's a good Republican and a good Democrat. And either way, we slice the cake. Whoever wins, we're going to have a good president. That is the perfect scenario. It shouldn't be the case that you have to have these massive, drastic differences. It should be two good presidents, and there's a few ideological differences, and that's what you decide on at election time. But you don't have to worry about your economy. You don't have to worry about the gas tank not being able to be filled up, or the EV electricity not being able to be filled up, or whatever, right? You don't have to worry about that. That shouldn't be the concern. It shouldn't be such a big, dire thing. It should just be simple, straightforward, and the less brainwashing and programming that we see through different major media outlets on both sides, right? Then that's for the better. And you could argue, I mean, there's so many different arguments here. I hate to get too far into politics because the truth is my opinions are all extremely hard to agree with at times because I get it. Everyone wants their side to win. I understand. So I'm not going to go too far into that. I mean, whatever. Hopefully your side wins, whichever side you're on. What a dumb thing to say. I mean, how can I want both sides to win? Or maybe there's the third side. How about you get the third side? You guys can win this time. Yay, Kanye West wearing a Satoshi Nakamoto hat after being kicked out of his bank, JP Morgan. Now, this should be a lesson that China takes to heart here. Because right now, they need to be implementing things to prevent the Chinese Communist Party from getting more powerful, and one of the ways they can do that is cryptocurrency. Now, as much as China wants to crack down on it, there are still ways to move forward with it, and that's why there's social credit scores and things like that. Cryptocurrency offers a way around that. It prevents them from having power, and it's the same exact thing here, but when it comes to JP Morgan. Now, some of the craziest things here, someone pointed out, so one of the worst people of all time, Epstein, he had a JP Morgan account, and he was never kicked off of it, despite all the controversy, despite everything. Yet Kanye West is now being kicked off of it. That just shows you that you cannot trust these major powers that be in the world to actually be fair with decisions like this. They are biased, they are unfair, and they cannot be trusted. They should not get our business unless they can provide a fair playing field for everyone. Now, not everyone likes Kanye West, but at the end of the day, he is making a good point here. The cryptocurrency allows the people to control things, prevents these massive powers from being able to tell you what you can and can't say. Now, you can disagree with Kanye West all you want, but at the end of the day, the country is way better off if people can say whatever the heck they want and they're not scared, because it will lead, like I said, especially in political discussions, to better politicians on both sides. It really will. That's going to be the result. 5 years from now, if everyone's allowed to say whatever the heck they want, we will have better Republicans and better Democrats, and then we will not have to worry so much if our side or your side or whatever side you're on loses, right? That's the way to go about it. And it sucks that no one else is. Have you ever heard any other person say that? Is there any influencer out there who's telling you that? Probably not, because it's so dang hard to truly find a path here. And even what I'm saying, I understand it's difficult to do. It probably won't happen, but there's a chance. And I certainly hope it is what we see happening here. MasterCard, by the way, also trying to bring crypto trading capabilities to banks. Now, they're already moving forward with this. This is a big deal, because it's going to potentially allow for a lot of new retail traders to come in. MasterCard, one of the biggest financial groups in the entire world, one of the biggest payment provider services in the entire world through their credit cards particularly. And so this, I think, is going to be a massive step forward. The 2022 MasterCard New Payments Index reported that 29% of respondents globally held cryptocurrency as an investment, with another 65% indicating a preference for crypto-related services to be provided by their current trusted financial institution. Now, this is specifically people who are going through the MasterCard networks. This is not of the entire global scale. It's not really true that 29% of people in the world have cryptocurrency, but of the people within MasterCard, that's a big amount. And so we could see, here's another doubling sign here. If you remember, a couple lives ago, I mentioned how we're seeing signals that we could see the amount of people holding cryptocurrency double, which could lead to the next major cryptocurrency run, just like we saw the last time when it went from around 3% to around 6% and hovered around that area before going up to 8%. Then we saw the big spike, 15%. So we keep seeing a doubling of the users within each percentage point over and over returns. And so that way, we're likely going to see this next big boom here, which will be hopefully from 29% to 65%, something along those lines. And just with that here, that would indicate in the larger scale without just people who are affiliated with MasterCard to some degree, that would lead to approximately a 30% total usage rate of cryptocurrency on a global scale, or at least in the first world countries, which is huge. I mean, that's going to be absolutely massive. If we can achieve 30% of people holding at least some cryptocurrency, which is not out of the question, that's going to lead to the biggest run we've ever seen. Not to mention the fact that a lot of people who hold crypto now are only holding a small amount of what they would potentially hold if we started to see another bull run and people got FOMO and wanted to get in more. So that right there is why we should be optimistic. And yes, if you want to press like, you're certainly welcome to do so. I know, a lot of controversial opinions today, but whatever. You know, it is what it is. We love Kanye. I live in Chicago. There are $9 billion mad. I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to, but I probably agree with you, whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but I agree. Sure. We get it. Devin, you put your life savings in it. So what did Devin do? He put his life savings in what? Oh, he said delete your channel if Doge doesn't hit 25 and switch to XRP to the moon. It says Devin Williams, and one of the moderators took that down. That's funny. Yeah, I see what's going on, Devin. He wants us to switch on over. Matt, I don't know. XRP is interesting, but at the end of the day, it's disqualified, I think, from being the future cryptocurrency verse because it is not proof of work. Proof of work is necessary to becoming that, or else it is too centralized, and we cannot have that. It has to be decentralized to be able to scale at a high enough level without having to worry about a potential takeover attempt and security flaws and issues that absolutely come along with things that are proof of stake. It is what it is, right? But in partnership with regulation and licensed cryptocurrency providers, MasterCard's financial institutions partners will gain access to a comprehensive suite of buy, hold, and sell services for select crypto assets augmented with proven identity, cybersecurity, and advisor services. The crypto source offering is completed by MasterCard Crypto Secure to bring additional security to the crypto ecosystem and support card issuers in their compliance with complex regulations. So a bunch of legal jargon just to simply say they're making crypto easier to buy for a lot of new people. So overall, that's a pretty positive, good thing there. You can't say otherwise with much of a case whatsoever. We also have more on China right now. The chip war with China is just getting started. This right here is, I think, probably something not a lot of people are truly understanding. China, right now, because they want to take over Taiwan, could, if they succeed in that, get access to a bunch of the chip manufacturing in the world scale. Right now, a huge percentage of chips that are used in all the important devices come directly through Taiwan. If China has control over that, they would have a lot of leverage over the U.S. economy in a very bad way that would allow them to continue having consequence-free actions that they take on a global scale. They're also having some consequences pushed against them. Now, this is an area where I think it is good what's happening right now. The government is taking some steps in the right direction here. Last week, they announced new restrictions on American companies that were selling advanced semiconductors to China, including restrictions on U.S. citizens and residents working for chip plants, which has totally put China in a place of halt when it comes to chip plants and things like that. They were getting a lot of benefits from U.S. people helping and working there, a lot of connections and things like that. Now, though, they're having to start and kind of rebuild from the ground up over there in China, which is exactly what they deserve for some of the talk they've been putting in place. They really seem to have it out for the USA. They want to beat us, and you can see, I mean, just look at those guys. They just look like absolute a-holes. I mean, just imagine having all these guys just look like absolute trash when it comes to their attitudes. I mean, my goodness, you can tell that the people of China deserve better. I'm just looking at them, how serious they are, how they seem. They all look like they think they're better than everyone else. There's no question about that. I mean, Xi Jinping is the only one that even has some level of looking friendly, but it's obviously an illusion. There's no way he's that friendly. He's not. I mean, there's no question. You have to be somewhat cutthroat if you're going to go to the top in China, which is, as you can see, the current government there seems very cutthroat. They all look super serious. They all look like they're full of themselves. The exact opposite of what you would want in a government is what's happening in China right now. And maybe I'm perhaps judging them too much based on appearance when compared to just simply all the terrible things they do. Perhaps it's swaying my mind. Like, I know all the bad stuff they're doing, and then when I see them, I associate that with them, and so maybe that's why. I don't know. You tell me, would you look at these people without knowing anything about them and say, these people look stuck up? I mean, they kind of do, right? They all have this serious look. They all seem to be dressed the same in similar uniforms. They're all doing the same exact type of hand motion. It just seems so fake and creepy, and I don't like it. I don't want to ever see a government like this implemented in the United States. And seriously, tell me. I want to know. Is it? If you didn't know anything about them, would you say this is a good government or a bad government? Would you say they're stuck up or not? Why is there no one smiling? Why is no one being friendly? I don't think this is a positive thing to have this group of people controlling the second largest economy in the world. And I hope something is done soon. But anyway, they're pushing hard against the US. The US is pushing back some in a big way. And escalated tensions across the globe. Not what we want to see, but it is the situation we're in now. Taiwan absolutely needs to be free in order for the US economy to continue functioning in the same way it does. If not, then we could have some big trouble there. And I hate to say that because it could lead to conflict, but it is, once again, what it is. So many craziness things happening on the global scale right now. The human experiment seems to be coming to a little bit of a hitting point here, where, or a fork in the road, I guess you could say, where we're either going to go towards a very bad path, or we could potentially break out of this and lead to massive innovation and success across the globe. I really hope we pick the second one, and cryptocurrency is a huge part of that. I certainly think it is the likely choice, and it is likely where we're going in the future. Anyway, I'm Matt Wallace, this is Final Stand, and I will see you in the next video.